Hey Scorpio, and thank you for joining me today. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It means the world to me. Okay, well, this is your mid-month reading for the sign of Scorpio. I have your 9 cards laid out right here. After I give you your reading, we're going to go ahead and clarify each of the 9 cards. Okay, so as I shuffled and laid your cards out, the first thing I noticed, the very first thing was there's a lot of people on this board, Scorpio. So I feel like there's a lot going on in your life dealing with people. And there's some conflict here. All right, so let's go through it. And please don't forget, if this resonates with you, I'd love to hear how this resonated. That'd be great to share. Okay, let's begin. The first card out, we have the 7 of Swords. So we have a little bit of a sneaky peeky here, as I call them. Someone's trying to get away with something, okay? I'm not sure if this is like some kind of cheating, but they're stealing. There's somebody who's, tiptoeing away from a scene, having stole 5 swords here, okay? I don't think this is strategy. I feel like there is a little cleverness here. Someone's sneaking away. So I'm sorry, Scorpio, if you're dealing with somebody who's being all sneaky with you. Okay, maybe you can feel this already happening in your life and you already have this feeling, but you're not sure who. But it's here. It showed up in the reading. And all right, well, let's see what else it has to say. I do have to kind of laugh because as I'm looking at this first line, this King of Swords, which does feel like it could be you, Scorpio, both the King of Wands and the 7 of Swords are looking right at the King of Swords, and he is looking guilty as fuck. I don't really like to curse all the time, but in this case I have to. I mean, look at the King of Swords. He's looking like straight at us like, what happened? What'd I do? Okay, this King of Wands is looking right at him. The 7 of Swords is looking right at him. So let's just look at this King of Swords, all right? I feel like if this is you, you're being really detached. It's like maybe you knew you effed up. Maybe you tried just to strategize. You tried to figure something out and it didn't go as planned. Maybe it didn't have to be something as, cheating or that kind of deception, but there's something I feel like you're trying to get away with, Scorpio. Maybe it's not you. You can read this as the other person as well. But I feel like I'm just feeling from this King of Swords that he's looking really guilty. I mean, the King of Swords in general is not somebody who looks guilty. He is somebody who's very strong-willed, strong-minded. He's a man of action. He's very disciplined, and he's very decisive. He does not wear his heart on his sleeve. He is mind over heart. He can be very cold, and I feel like right now you might actually be being a little cold because I feel like you're busted with something. You got busted, and now you have nothing to do but just kind of like zip the lips and be quiet about it. Again, this could be somebody who you're dealing with and not you. I did notice that this King of Swords just looks a little guilty. The King of Wands, we have 2 kings here. So maybe you're dealing with Sagittarius, Aries, Leo. This is a very fiery, passionate, charismatic person, but also can be a player. So maybe this is the little trickster right there, the little sneaky peeky. It could be. Or maybe you just got involved with somebody who, just plays around like that, isn't very loyal, just kind of likes to do his own thing, just plays around. I do see the King of Wands here staring at the King of Swords. It's like he's waiting for some kind of answer, possibly. If this is like a man and a woman, or man and man, doesn't matter, female, female, like somebody's waiting for an answer, wants to communicate. Okay, go ahead, speak. Let's talk. What happened? Okay? But I see a lot of squabbling, not getting anywhere. This is just arguing, banter, back and forth. I just feel a room of just clamor. No one's getting anywhere. It's just this back and forth volleying of, you did this, no, you did that, no, you did this, no, you did that, you're a liar, well, you're a thief, and you're a, so there's just like a whole, this card to me, the Five of Wands, always reminds me of just like a lot of noise. Or in those cartoons, you ever see how like two cats will get into some squabble and like the dirt pile's going crazy, and all you see is like smoke and dirt. This is what I feel like you're dealing with right now. And look at the King of Swords. He's like, I don't even want to be here right now. This is not what I want to be doing. This is not. But it's your situation that either you got yourself into or that you have to deal with now. The only advice I can bring to you with this card is, because there's so much noise here, maybe it's time to just step back, which looks like you may have, and listen. Even if you feel in the depths of your being that the other person is wrong, just listen. You want to quiet that noise. Because, as suggested by the middle card, and this is the heart of the reading, so I tend to take it with a little bit more gusto, if you will. The Knight of Swords. This is a very rushed, haphazard energy that like has you speaking before you can think it. I'm afraid, King of Swords, if this is you, Scorpio, that you're going to say something you regret. Okay? You are going to succumb to this lower way of being. You're smarter than this, you're stronger than this. All right, you're flying off the handle, and you're flying right into this crowd right here of people. So whatever this clamor is, it's almost like your red hot noise, steely anger is just going to flip the switch even to a higher octave. I think you have to take this energy down a notch, because it's only going to get you into more trouble. The 5 is going to lead to, well, not the 6, because that would be victory, but 7, or, the 9 and the 10 of Wands. It's just going to get more fiery, and the rage is just going to build and build. Okay, so I think because this is the center of your reading, it really tells me that this is important. This is a time to pump the brakes. Look at how jagged the clouds are here, which is an indication that it is stormy, man. You got to get out of here. But you're running the wrong direction. Go in the direction of the 9 of Pentacles, because look, she's looking off the other direction in peace. This is a very silent card, a quiet card of just minding your own business. Being in your own place, your own zone, your own special place of bliss. This can be your bedroom, your backyard. This can be doing what you do best. The 9 of Pentacles is a card of success. Okay? If this is... So, let me just finish my thought. So this card indicates that, yes, maybe it's time to just back off, be silent, think and do what you will to make yourself feel better. Be calm, be at peace, be out in nature, go for a walk. If this is not you, and you think perhaps this may be a lady or another man, perhaps what all this squabbling is about, I don't think he or she really cares. She's just kind of like off to the distance, like, what are these idiots doing? So even less of a reason to squabble because, maybe it just doesn't matter. Maybe this woman or this other person that's kind of this has been sidelined in a way, um, isn't really interested in whatever relationship or situation this is. So all this fighting may actually be for nothing. I think you should take maybe the route of the Page of Swords, which tells me to get a better perspective, a lighter perspective on the whole ordeal. Okay? The Page of Swords, the apprentice of the deck, she is inspired, insightful, has good perspective because she hasn't had the burden of all this crazy dramatic energy in her life yet. There hasn't been so many situations that she has become this, right? She still has time. She'll get there. But for now, she just has perspective. So I think, again, if this is you, Scorpio, maybe find some perspective. Go away for a while. Go away. Just feel better. Maybe go for, a hike. That's one of the things that we can still do nowadays with this whole quarantine thing. Maybe you are just kind of boxed in your home with another person and you're flipping the F out. Go for a walk. Seek some higher level of thinking and knowing. Because when you go into something with just more, what's the word? I guess just more lightness, with a little bit more jubilant energy and not so bogged down, you have an easier way of listening. There's an easier way of communicating, therefore bringing peace about. Okay? I don't know exactly what the situation is for, each and every one of you. Of course, this is a general reading. But I feel like, Scorpio, you want so much more. Okay? You want it all. And this is small beans compared to the bigger picture. Don't waste your energy on trifling little things that you're far greater than. Don't succumb to these lower energies that have you running in circles, screaming your head off, or perhaps even getting violent. Don't succumb to that, because what you really want is something much more structured and reliable. You are building for your future, not just for tomorrow. Okay? And whatever happened in the past, you can easily move on, because the rest of your future, the years to come, these pentacles are emblematic of what you desire, your values. And you have to start thinking and being the essence of those values. So, for example, if you really want a family and you really want a solid kind of lifestyle built on, the faith of your partner and whatever, you have to start living in that kind of reality and not be squabbling, or, if this is you, stealing, or doing sneaky things, or even if it's not you, putting yourself in these kind of situations. I mean, I know it's easier said than done, especially if you're married. This card can indicate there's a family involved, and if that's the case, and if you are married, then that even means more so that take the advice of this lighter card and listen. Kind of go into it with a new perspective, and don't think you know everything. You may just want to ask simple, inquisitive questions. That's always a good way to open up conversation, not to come at somebody with accusing them. You did this, and I saw you do that, and blah, blah, blah. Even if the other person is doing that to you, and you might as well say that, well, you know what, he or she did that to me. Well, you know what, just cut it out. It doesn't matter. This is a time where you walk back into the room or whatever, and you just the simple nature within you just wants to ask a question. You know, how did this happen? Can you just explain to me, like, what does this mean, or blah blah blah, and that's how you go into it. The Six of Swords is an indication that there is movement here. That, here is the rippled effect of the turbulent waters that hopefully now we're moving past. These are some of the lessons that we're learning. We have a lot of swords here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th card of swords. So if this is your family in the boat, bring them to calmer waters. This is something you don't want to lose. Nobody wants to lose a family or get really upset and have all these, volatile arguments. You have the power to create the peace. You also have the power to corrupt the peace. So it's kind of your choice. Let's go ahead in and start clarifying. Use these cards. Okay. All right. So we'll start with the 7 of Swords. Okay, so now we have a King of Cups. So now this whole first line are kings. There's a lot of people here, so maybe this really does have something to do with a family dynamic. Maybe I see a lot of masculine energy here, so maybe, it doesn't matter if these are actually women or men involved. It doesn't particularly matter. But we have a lot of people here who like control, who maybe aren't giving up any sense of, give and take here. It's just all my way and that's it. So, the King of Cups, he can also be overly emotional, to the point of, bursting with anger, a little temper tantrum. This can be somebody who drinks a lot too. So, if there's somebody trying to get away with a drinking habit, or, there could be alcohol and drugs involved. We're kind of stuck at home. It's I don't want to say it's acceptable. That's certainly not acceptable behavior, but it's understandable that we're all maybe dealing with things right now as we're, secluded or isolated. Okay, so there's a lot of kings here, a lot of people on the board. So let's look at the King of Swords. That could be you, Scorpio. King of Cups. What do we have here for the King of Swords? Whoever this King of Swords is. We have the Page of Wands, so another person. This could be indicated by a younger person in the family. This really could, I can't believe how many people are here. There's just so many. If there are kids involved, younger people involved, that's even more so the reason to keep the peace. It's more of a reason to need to go to calmer waters. The Page of Wands is not only just a younger energy, but it talks about somebody who's spirited and, likes to have a lot of fun. I hate to say it, but I'm just going to throw it out there that, this could be an older person involved with a younger person. Or if it's not that, maybe King of Swords, who I initially thought was you, Scorpio, maybe you really do want to talk a little bit more of a lighter note. And that's not a bad way to go about it, although right now, some of these cards are very heavy, so maybe now is not the time to, communicate it all in that way. Maybe because sometimes I feel like this is like a fun laughter type of card. At least with the Page of Swords, it's a little bit more serious. I feel like it's more inquisitive, it's more communicative. But, I don't know. As I look at these, I'm trying to feel, the Page of Wands is looking at the King of Wands, so, maybe it really did have something to do with like a younger person. It's going to be different for everyone, but Let's see what we have for the King of Wands. King of Wands is the Six of Wands. So, I said earlier, I feel like the King of Wands was looking at the King of Swords like, what are you going to say to that, buddy? I feel like this person, whoever it is, feels like they're on top, feels like they're winning, feels like they've won whatever war this is. That might not be the truth or the reality to you, and this is maybe why you're so angry, is because there's somebody who feels like they one-upped you. This is somebody maybe who likes a lot of attention. This is the King of Wands. He certainly loves attention. Maybe he's getting attention, or she's getting attention from younger people. I still can't get over how many people are on this board. It's like the room is bursting. So, if this is what you're dealing with, very charismatic, maybe even like a womanizer, somebody who's just doing something dirty, well, they're showing up here. Certainly are. And then we have this Five of Wands. So, all right, let's see what this Five of Wands has got to say. Okay, so the High Priestess has showed up. So this is water energy again. And this is such a hushed card of just quiet contemplation going in. And this is the way to be probably at this point, with all this racket and noise. The High Priestess doesn't really speak. She sits there. She's a card of passivity. She doesn't make a decision. As you see, she's just kind of sitting there, quiet lipped, tight lipped, not saying anything. This card also suggests that whatever is going on in this crazy scene here, it will be revealed on its own. You or any one of these people don't actually have to say or do anything. That it will happen on its own. It's going to kind of bubble up to the surface. Especially with all this squabbling. Someone is going to say something and it's going to light the whole thing on fire, right? So if this is any advice to you, Scorpio, it's to just sit tight. Don't make any remarks. Just kind of go within. If you have to just go to a quiet room, take the high road. This is the High Priestess, so take the High Priestess road and just maybe be in your emotions for now. Just kind of let something else take over at this point, because you really need to remove yourself from the situation. The Knight of Swords. Yeah, so we also have the Five of Swords. So something dirty is going on here. I don't know what it is. Please, if you feel like sharing, please do. I'm curious now. This is like a whole soap opera going on here. We have the Five of Swords and cold energy. Cold energy. Someone's just winning at all costs. Maybe not thinking about the rest of the family or the rest of the people on this board. And you have every reason, perhaps, Scorpio, to be angry. You have every reason to want to charge and, announce that you are, pissed off. I get it. I get it, because this is one of my, I guess least favorite cards. It's not a happy one. So I get it, but when you're in this situation, you kind of have to take it for what it is. You can't make it worse. Let's look at this Nine of Pentacles. Okay. A lot of swords. There's heartbreak here. So maybe this was about a woman. maybe a man, maybe somebody who's just independent and successful, but I feel like whoever this is, she or he just really doesn't care about the situation. This person came in and came out and is gone. And it's kind of like maybe left everything in a ruin. However, I also see the other side where if this is your energy and you're heartbroken, this is all the reason to move away. Not out of state or something. I just mean like, go be in your place of pleasure, whether it's reading books, just take a hike, go take a walk, do what fills you with happiness. Okay, you need to remove yourself from this crazy situation because your heart is broken. There needs to be some kind of healing. And through the healing, I think will be this new growth of fulfillment. This, I always say where there's death, there's rebirth, where there's heartbreak, there's healing. So here we have this beautiful card and it's wanting to shine and come out, but something needs to heal. There's such a smoldering vulnerability across this whole board that everything needs to be tempered. Okay, Page of Swords. What do we have here for the Page of Swords? Page of Swords. We have the Miser of the deck, the Four of Pentacles, and this is accompanied by the Page of Swords. Well, I think if you can let go, this is indicative of somebody who just kind of like holds tightly onto something for security. And clearly there's not a whole lot of security here. There's a lot of backstabbing, betrayal, squabbling, I think if you can, and you might also be in a state of just protecting oneself, guarding your heart, guarding your money. Maybe there was a thief and actually stole money. The story can point in so many directions. But again, I think if you can gain better perspective, you might realize that you don't need to hold on so tightly to something. You might realize you don't need to protect and be in this place of insecurity. Again, when we seek higher heights of thinking, of insight, when we seek different ways of thinking about something or seeing something, we realize that this kind of state of mind doesn't really matter. We just kind of let everything go on its own. And I think once you let things go, this is when the Ten of Pentacles can come in and give you everything you've ever wanted. Because it's this new perspective, this new lighter energy that says, I was going to say I don't care, but it's not that I don't care in a way of like, oh, screw it all, but it's more of this just inquisitive nature of just wanting to know, wanting to be. So if there's a lot of pain and hurt here within this family or this group of people, maybe just go into it with understanding and just, a very simple, clear line of communication. Okay, because maybe there's like actual money, generational money on the board where there's real estate and houses and this is a lot of weight. And I understand if you're dealing with money issues and it's not easy and there's lawyers involved or whatever, it can go crazy. So let's see what we have for this Ten of Pentacles. Okay, so we have the Magician. I'm happy to see the Magician show up, especially on the Ten of Coins, because like I said, this is everything you want. And I think you can have everything you want if you just use the resources of your energy well. If you channel all this energy in another way, not through anger and disruption and volatile energy, but more up and out. This is focused energy. This is channeled energy. You already have everything on your table. You have everything to do with everything that you need to do it with. Like if you, money, job, career, whatever it is, you have the potential for so much more growth. Like, don't stop here when you have this. You know, this is the Magician tells us that where there's a will, there's a way. This is willpower. This is higher knowing. This is higher doing and being. The Magician is also the healer. So if you take control of the situation, and not this kind of control, but if you actually take control through understanding and a commitment to really be with these people and be present with them and understand their ideas and where they come from, even if they're quote unquote wrong, your life will be more stable because you're giving compassion and you're giving this healing energy in order to heal possibly the family or the situation. And then we have the Six of Swords. What do we have here? This is your last card. Six of Swords for Scorpio. Six of Swords. Through the channeling and manifestations of the Magician, you have paved a new road. You know, you were going one way, and then all of a sudden it veered off into something better. Better, brighter, more wholesome. I mean, you design it. It's of your design, and that's why the Magician came out again. This is all of your design, of your making. You are constructing your reality by through your own behaviors and communication and the way you think and release your energy out onto whatever this situation is. You can have the power to bring things to greater heights and to recreate and to build and manifest something much more significant, healthier, structured, you name it. Okay, so I'm happy we landed on this Two of Wands because it really shows us that now you can be at the gates to a new reality. Let all the people out of this gate right here. Let them all out. Let them go home. And here you go. You are offered a whole new world to design. All for you. You can do this. Okay, Scorpio. Whew, that was lots of work. All right. So please like, subscribe, and comment below. I would especially love to hear your comments on this one. Tell me what's going on. All right. Well, that was your mid-month reading, Scorpio. I hope to see you again. Have a great day.